Well, welcome. I'm Sally Jack's TV mom, and I want to tell you about the story that's just happened to me tonight. That's just taken me nearly 7 hours to get back from work. I do work a way away. If you've never met me before, then welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Sally Jack's TV mom, and the TV is a reference to that I work in. I'm a television presenter, and I work in TV. And I work at a lovely place called Ideal World, and I was down in Peterborough trying to get back. Really bad weather, so because of the snow. So instead of doing the A1 and the M62, I came across country and did the A14 and then went up the M6. So whichever way I'd have gone home tonight, I'd have hit a smart motorway. Now, if you've not heard of a smart motorway, these are new motorways that they're putting around Great Britain, and they're stupid. There's no other way to describe them. A smart motorway takes away the whole hard shoulder, and they think that they've put other things in place to be able to make them smarter, better, and more functioning, but they haven't, and it's been proven otherwise. So let me tell you my story that's just happened today. So I'm on my way home, and obviously we've got really bad snow, but I didn't get any snow on the roads. But when I hit the M6, I hit a lot of rain, and all of a sudden, so my windscreen wipers are going like this, and then all of a sudden my right windscreen wiper went and stopped like that. So my left one's still going. And I thought, oh, that's strange. But then they started going again. So I thought, oh, it's fine. And then it did it again. I thought, that's really weird. And anyway, it flipped itself right over. So I undid my window and I tried to get my hand on it to clump it. And I sort of pulled it and threw it while I was driving. So obviously dangerous. And it didn't start going again. And the left one stopped. And this rain's coming down, and you know that that window needs cleaning. It needs clearing for you to be able to see. I can't even tell you how. Now, after all of this happened, I rang my husband once I'd sorted everything, and in my husband's words, and we've been together a long time. My husband said to me, he's only ever heard me once before like I was on the phone. There's cars coming from all directions. There's lorries zooming past me. There is no hard shoulder. So where the hell do I go? What the hell do I do on that motorway? I'm going to play you some footage. I seriously thought I was going to die. I was so scared, I can't even tell you. But I also have a mind, and I don't know why I do this, but I've got a mind that goes into the form of Sally Sort It, Sally's Solutions. I was like this, sadly, when my father passed away and we tried to resuscitate him and we couldn't, and I go into sort it mode. My head just automatically does that, and I was like, right, sort it, but I was screaming, who's invented smart motorways? I'm screaming like that in the car. I'm all on my own. Anyway, then eventually I saw like a yellow part on the side, and they're called the ERAs. This is going to be interesting to you later on, and that's called the Emergency Rescue Area, and these are on smart motorways. So I'll explain that in a moment because they're not brilliant, so I'm just trying to get comfortable. And so I pulled over into this ERA lane, and I thought, oh well, I'm with green flag because I go through NatWest, so I thought, oh, I'll give them a call. So I rang green flag, that I gave them all my details. And I could see my hands were shaking, but I knew that I had just had to get on with a job in hand. And when I pulled up, I didn't just pull up on the yellow bit, I pulled right up on the grass verge, because you know, obviously, even with hard shoulders, people have been hit. But can you imagine without a hard shoulder and you're in that lane? Jeez whiz. Green Flag informed me that NatWest have changed to AA. NatWest have never told me. So then I rung AA. AA have been, amazing. So I rung the AA. They said, we're going to get somebody out to you straight away. And he said it'll be within the hour. So he said, and they give you all the bits and pieces that you've got to make sure that you've got yourself onto the grass verge and so on and so forth. So I tried to get out my car, tried to fix it myself, and I thought I rung my mechanic. Is there anything that I need to do? What do you think's happened? He said, I think your ball and socket's broken. He said, that's possibly what's happened. And it ended up being that. Anyway, I got myself onto the grass verge, sorted out the AA. They text me to say that they were going to be there. I think it was within half an hour or something. And they turned up even quicker. And they gave me the registration plate where they were going to turn up. So in the meantime, as I've sorted everything, as I say, I'll go into Sally's sorting solutions sort of head. Once I'd sorted everything, I then looked back at it all and just thought, I can't believe what happened. I can't believe what happened. It was so scary. Pull myself together. It was so scary. I cannot even begin to tell you how I felt. My whole body went into a shake. I was literally like this. So God knows how people feel, just because there's been fatalities. I'm going to tell you about this in a minute. God knows how those people must feel in their last seconds and minutes of their lives. I can't even begin to, because the fear that went through me, the fear that ripped through me at that moment, as I'm stood on that grass verge, was just sheer panic. But I'd sorted everything. So I rung my husband at this point, and I did it. I don't know, it sounds really stupid, you're gonna think what, but I go into this kind of mode, and I thought I'll just do something for Instagram. And I started crying when I was doing the Instagram. And if anybody has seen it, if you haven't seen it, I'm Sally Jack's TV Mom, and there's a reel on Instagram that I did, and it'll be on my main page. Well, I don't know if you can hear me, this is not fun. I am absolutely shaking like a leaf. It's not an accident, I'm okay, but getting a bit teary. I'm on the M6 and it's raining and my windscreen wipers stopped working. Never ever had anything like that before. I couldn't see, and these M6 Smart Motorways are shocking because they don't have hard shoulders. And there was nowhere for me to go, and I couldn't see what I was doing. Anyway, I've got hold of the AA, and I'm just waiting. So that's my car. I've eventually got it onto the yellow bit on it, and anyway, I'm sweating. What a mess. I'll let you know how I get on. Flipping heck, that was awful. I couldn't see where I was going. That was so scary. And I did this reel, and I was writing it, and I was crying, and as I was writing it, my hands were shaking. And then I posted that, and then I really broke down. So you're only seeing a little bit on Instagram. I absolutely freaked my pants. I just went off on one. So eventually I managed to get hold of my husband, because I was struggling to get hold of my husband as well. And when I eventually got through to him, I am screaming down the phone in absolute fear. And he said he's never heard me like that, only once before, and he said that was many years ago. Because even my father's passing was worse, obviously. However, when he passed, I spoke to my husband in the Sally solution mode again. I can't explain it, what I do, but you know what you're like in these situations. Everybody reacts differently, and this is the way I react. And anyway, then there was they texted me to the AA, and they put in the text what their registration plate was going to be, and I saw this white van turn up with about 4 men with high-vis jackets on, and I was on the phone to my husband. I said, oh, I think they're here. And then I looked at the registration, and I thought, they told me it was LD something and this was K something, and I thought, what are they? And they're all like looking at me on the grass verge, and I thought, oh my God, don't say I'm in another scenario now where there's going to be 3 blokes that are going to come up to me. Anyway, then the AA van turned up at the back of them, like within seconds, and one of the AA guys got out. I now know his name was Stuart. Got out and came round to this van and said, basically, what are you doing? I don't know all this until later. And these guys work on the motorways, but had stopped to sort their sat nav out. And this guy was saying absolute stupidity. They should never have done that. He said, you know, are you okay? And he emptied the front seat, did one of the guys, Stuart. And then the other guy, was so lovely, both of them. He then drove the car. But what they have to do is they have to shut that, the slow lane. They have to shut it, even though it's not slow. And the wagons are coming past like this. They have to shut it to be able to get on so he could drive me off. But by this time, it wasn't really raining, it was drizzly. So then they shut it, but you have to get on it as soon as you shut it, because they don't leave it shut for long. He got me off at the next services, which I'm going to show you in a moment, and then mending my car. But I was like this, and I was crying my eyes out. Anyway, we got to the service station, and they have fixed it for me to get home, but so they've just put this bit on there, so my windscreen wiper should carry on going. Turn this on for me now. I'm at the catch corner, and then McDonald's is over there. I've just gone and got them a brew, and oh God, that was the scariest thing. So they're just sorting it now. Really good guys. So I've got a 2-hour journey still home. You have to excuse me because I look a state, because obviously I've been on the motorway, absolutely bawling my eyes out. That was one of the scariest moments of my life. Whew. Still got a little bit of the shape. These are the 2 guys that have just helped me. This is Stuart, that's just fixed it. Hello, Stuart. What? And this is Shajil. So Stuart, what's just happened?
Wiper linkage broken off the for the wiper motor, so we just put a temporary clip on, so it's going to allow this lady to get back home nice and safe.
Lady, that's very nice. Everybody will laugh.
Professional.
Professional through and through. Shajil, this is your first week out, isn't it?
That's correct.
What do you think?
It's good done.
Yeah? You enjoying it?
Yeah, that's it. Loving it.
Yeah?
The double A line.
The double A line. So thanks guys, I'm going to get back on the road now. Whilst they were fixing it, I rung my mechanic, who is absolutely amazing. He's called Tony Forshaws, and I've said, right, Tony, I'll get the car into tomorrow. This is the bit that we need to get. Am I going to be back up and fixed for Monday morning? Because obviously I need to get back to work. So again, I go into Sally solution mode, because that's the way my brain goes. I kind of always think in situations, although today I wouldn't have been able to find a solution. It's so scary. It like takes my breath away when I think about it. But my headspace goes into, if there's a problem, we'll fix it. I'm always that positive mind. If there's a problem, we'll fix it. If there's a problem, there's a solution. That's the mindset I always go into. But anyway, I'm just going to give you some facts, because it was really interesting listening to the AA guys, because Edmund King, who's the president of the AA, has actually been fighting for 10 years against smart motorways, saying how ludicrously dangerous they are and how so out of touch they are with roads. He's been to Parliament. There's things on YouTube about him. And let me just read some of the things that are in that I've just found tonight. So 63 deaths on stretches of smart motorways between 2015 and 2019. That's on stretches. That's not on the entirety of the smart motorways that have been rolled out. That's on stretches of them. And a BBC Panorama investigation showed near misses between broken down and moving vehicles on one stretch of the M25 had risen 20-fold. 20-fold since the removal of hard shoulders. That is a ridiculous increase. Highways England also have avoided manslaughter charges over South Yorkshire smart motorway deaths. You've also got Yorkshire Live. This would read in injury and deaths twice as high on smart motorways with no hard shoulder. The Mirror has put smart motorways dubbed the Grenfell of the roads. Major crashes twice as likely. Higher death rate on smart motorways than with a hard shoulder. You've also got the Transport Network have put smart motoring deaths rise to record levels. The Guardian has an article of a woman writing about her mother saying, this is just so sad. If hard shoulders were still in, my mother would still be here. I mean, you're right. So, when these came out, if you listen to Edmund King talk, because I always do my research. If anybody knows me, they'll know I'm an absolute nerd and I research. Well, I haven't done that much research, but I've done a lot of research tonight since I've come home. Edmund King talks about how it all started. So when the pilot Smart Motorway, which I'm not 100% sure where it was, but it was somewhere down south, could have even been kind of M42 or something like that. I don't know which one it was. I can't remember that. But anyway, this stretch of the motorway that was piloted, they took away the hard shoulder and they put these ERA lanes, which is emergency rescue areas, the areas which are like yellow on the floor. They're almost like a parking area with a telephone box. They put those every 400 meters and it worked. And so everybody was like, oh, fantastic. These work with the Highways Agency. This is brilliant. Let's roll these out. But what they did is they then went back to the boardroom and decided to make cuts to be able to afford it. And this is where you get deaths. They started rolling them out. So you imagine you're on a motorway now. The hard shoulder is always there as your safety net, although it's not safe, but it's safer, should we say. You should still get out of your car, and there's still a chance that if there's a stopped vehicle, vehicles tend to sway towards it. That's why you've got to get out your car. And of course, lorries can go to sleep. That's why you've got to get out your car. But you've still got the hard shoulder. So if you break down, if your tyre pops, if something goes wrong, if you've got a flash on your dashboard, if you can see smoke coming out the back, you can move on to the hard shoulder. If you're in a smart motorway and it's in the pilot, every 400 yards, you've got one of these ERA lanes that you can go to. Yeah? When they rolled them out across the country, they made these ERA lanes every 2,000 meters, or to put it into perspective, 1.5 miles. You can't choose where you're going to break down. So if you break down, you're breaking down there. You can't say, well, I've got to get to the ERA lane. So somebody's written that into a manual and decided to put them every 2,000 meters instead of every 400 meters. And then what happens, they were meant to put this radar, like on the gantries or something, that actually detects when a car has stopped and broken down. And then that's where they put the X above. And you've got to stop and come out of that lane. That's what's meant to happen. But they put these ERA lanes every 2,000 meters and then didn't put the radar technology in. So they were making so many mistakes with it. And now they've put the radar in, but the radar isn't low enough. So if you drive a car like a classic car or an MX-5, you don't get picked up on. So if you break down and you're in a low car, you don't get picked up on. So if you're broken down wherever you are, because you could be in any of the lanes, you've got those hurtling traffic, those big juggernauts coming towards you. What's going to happen? So tell me, which idiot has sat down and signed this off? So not only has somebody decided to go, I'm going to cut corners, do you know what? I'm going to cut corners. But do you know what else they're doing? They're playing with people's lives like a video game. So let's put radar technology in. We'll put radar technology, but oh, we'll have a bit. It's not going to catch an MX-5 and it's not going to... I'm just absolutely... But I'm finding this out year after year after year after year, especially since I've gone into my 40s. I'm finding so many people that work, and I'm absolutely positive you're going to agree with this, don't do their jobs properly, do half a job, can't be bothered. I call them Horlicks workers, or people that just don't think. This is people that have put them every 2,000 metres that probably don't use the motorway, cutting costs, all of this palaver. I'm just staggered, absolutely staggered that it's taken the president of the AA 10 years of fighting and he's still fighting, and there's deaths still happening, yet somebody twiddles their thumbs in government. We just got to look at COVID now. That was dealt with. Twiddled their thumbs in government, and the highways agency. Yeah, I just get over how somebody gets away with this. I can't get over what's happened to me today, and I'm absolutely flabbergasted that this has been rolled out and somebody's actually signed this off. So if you're on a smart motorway, please be aware. And some people don't even know what they are. Some people don't even know how to use them. And do you know why? Because people don't tell people how to do it. People don't tell people how to use it. They should have been pamphlets dropped in everybody's box or in everybody's email. The DVLA knows all your numbers. And if you're not paying your bills, they're on you for that, aren't they? I'm just baffled. I'm absolutely baffled. And also incredibly, incredibly shocked. And it's just, I came in and I hugged Frankie Jack. My dogs went mad as usual. Oh, look at little Dolly. My dogs went mad as usual when I came in, because obviously they haven't seen me for 3 days. Hello, Bebe. Hello, Bebe. She's a little old girl now. Thanks for watching, and thank you so much for all your messages. I've had so many messages, it's unbelievable. And I'm sure there's more to come tomorrow, but thank you so much for your messages. It means the world. I'm sorry I haven't vlogged for so long, and I'm sorry this is such a hard-hitting vlog for the first one back. I will do some nice family ones, etc. I've got some cool stuff in the pipeline, hopefully, that's going to happen this year. Just been incredibly busy, and last year was a very, very stressful year. It sounds very stressful with this on top. This year's been a better year. I'm just please be aware, please be careful. You may have an absolutely hideous, worse story than mine, but smart motorways are the most unsmart thing I've ever heard of, and the idiot that designed these, and the absolute prat that cut corners, or the boardroom that did, well, do they get stuck in front of families that have lost loved ones? Because that's what needs to happen, isn't it? Because this is just an absolute scandal, and the proof that technology is not always the best way forward. Because isn't it far better to have that cushion everywhere than every 2,000 metres? Thank you for watching. I'm Sally Jack's TV mum. Love you lots as always, and I'll see you on the next vlog. Please don't forget to give us your thumbs up. Love to have you part of my YouTube family, so the subscribe button is there. And if you want to leave your comment, then please do so. I'm going to leave a link in to a couple of things where you can read up on Smart Motorways and hear that Edmund King, the president of the AA, talking about it. I'll see you on the next vlog.